Hey everybody, this is Rockin' Larry Lockin with Pleiadian Express Productions. Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit, just do a real quick talk about a subject that came to my thoughts as far as athletes go and why almost 0% of all great young athletes will ever get to go on to make $1 million playing professional sports. This is how it is, okay? And yes, a lot of us have this dream. We coach our kids at sports, we support them all the way through. And some of them really become great high school athletes and stuff. And then we get this dream that they're going to play professional sports and make $1 million. Well, that's like winning the lottery. I'll explain here. Let me explain the three factors that it takes to ever make that happen. Okay, let's start with the first one. You have to be, just like with any great musician, great performer, great artist, you have to be born. You have to be born with that God-given talent, that creation-given talent. You have to be born with that. That's the first thing you need. That's just the base of it, but that's a must. The second factor is that if you're born with that, you also have to spend your whole youth all the way up through elementary school, junior high, high school, even into college. You have to work endlessly. You have to go to practice early. You have to stay late to practice. You have to, on your own time, spend all your free time working on your game, whatever it is that you may be into, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, it doesn't matter, okay? You have to spend all your free time constantly and repetitively working on techniques. Whether it's free throw shooting, like Magic Johnson would do. He'd practice all night, taking 1,000 jump shots a night when he was growing up. Whether it's, getting your passing down accurately, throwing it through a tire, working on your quarterback skills. Okay, so those are just some examples, but you have to work endlessly. You have to give your whole life up. So those two things have to come together, okay? Those are two factors that have to come together before you could ever make $1 million playing professional sports. Typically, I mean, there are a few exceptions, but not many. All right, and when you're chasing that dream, it doesn't matter. You could be born with that God-given ability, but if you're not willing to put in the work, it's not going to happen for you. In contrast, and I feel sorry for some of these people, if you're not born with that God-given ability, but you have put in all those endless hours working your butt off, just chasing your dream, it's really not going to work for you. Even though you've worked your ass off, you're only going to get so far because the competition gets so stiff. Okay, so let's say both those factors come together, right? You've got both those going for you, the God-given ability. You've worked your ass off, spending, every waking hour you have working on your craft. Okay, then what happens is, then you need one other factor to play into it. You need a little bit of luck, actually a lot of bit of luck. Because what happens is then you might get drafted into a professional sports organization, right? Now, typically, and this is where people with both those crafts perfected or both those talents perfected, this is where it falls apart. They get put into a situation on a team with bad coaching, um, internal issues in the organization going on. The coaching of that team doesn't complement your particular style of playing, right? So you get fizzled out before you get started. The great athletes that have made millions of dollars consistently over the years at their sport, especially team sports, they've had to fall into that situation, even though they've worked their ass off their whole life. They were born with a talent. You get fizzled out right away if you're put in a position like that when you first enter the professional ranks, and it fizzles them out. The great ones happen to get that lucky break, and they were put in a position that complemented their skills, and they were able to, have their careers go on for a long time, and be very successful at the sport. But again, we sometimes have this dreamer's disease as parents, and we all love our kids when we're coaching them and stuff. I coached my kids, I know. Um, but it's like winning the lottery. Well, not even literally. It's literally like winning the lottery, making the $1 million. But that's why almost less than 0% of great athletes that are, great in their youth and in high school, it's why practically 0% of them will ever have a chance of making millions of dollars playing the sport professionally. It just doesn't work that way. If it did, well, if it did, I mean, we'd all be millionaires, hell. But it doesn't work that way. You can only get so far of it. If you don't have those three factors, excuse me, if you don't have those three factors working for you, the chances are very, very less than zero that you're ever going to make a substantial amount of money. Okay, so sure, you have those two things going for you, right? Without the luck. Yeah, you might get picked up by a pro team and, you'll make a little bit of money and, but you'll fizzle out. They're not going to renew your contract or you're going to get cut real quick by them. You're going to get let go and that's it. But these athletes that constantly make tens of millions of dollars, they have had, for the most part, all three of those factors working for them. Otherwise, yeah, it just doesn't work. So, that's my thought, and that's what it takes. You can work your kids so hard, you can be with them, support them, have them work their ass off, but those two other factors, the God-given ability and, getting put into the right situation, those are completely, for the most part, out of your control. You just can't do it. I'm out. That's just my thought on it.